Hey everybody, it's Nick here again for Grayscale Gorilla. I am the Gorilla, and today we're going to talk about kerning, and more specifically, kerning in 3D applications. Now, if you're not familiar with the term kerning, it's essentially the letter spacing between each individual letter when you type out a word. For example, let's just jump right in here to my website where I posted this post a few days ago about how to make that infinite floor look. And one of my examples was this. I just went and grabbed a MoGraph type object and typed out the word infinite and kind of rendered it out. And some people were talking about how kind of poorly kerned this is. And what they mean by that is you can see the spacing between the F and the I here is kind of ridiculously large. And what this does, what kerning means to readability is like the most important part. Kerning makes it more, not only just more beautiful to look at, your type, but also it makes it more readable in general. So, your brain is kind of struggling to know, is this two separate words? Like it's just far enough apart to where you want to get that kerning right. The problem is, there's no proper way to do this inside of Cinema 4D. There are no kerning tools to allow you to do this. So for example, if we come into Illustrator here, I typed out the same thing in Illustrator, and I have the type tool here, and looks like there's a space there. That needs to go. But you can see we still kind of have this problem going on right there with our type. And that's that there's just too much room here. Now, like I say, in a normal application, or in most other applications where you have the ability to type, you can hold down Alt or Option and then go hit your arrows left and right, and that will kern your type. You can see the rest of the word is kind of falling into place, and I could go and kind of tuck it in like that and get more proper kerning. I could also make like really tight kerning, right? I could come in here and really squish it in. Now, of course, in Cinema, let's head back to Cinema after we kind of do some of this. There's a lot to learn about kerning, and as you can see, I'm not the best with it, but there's a lot of just kind of squinting and knowing how far away your letters should be apart from each other to make them readable or to make them beautiful. Let's go back into Cinema and talk about what Cinema doesn't do. So if we come into our MoGraph and grab a MoText and do the same thing here, we can go to text. We could go N-A-T-E. N-I-T-E. I think it's all I's. Yeah, that's right. I'm going to pick the same font here. So we go into Font, Typograph Pro, Light or Ultra Light. I guess I did it with the light one there. So we'll do that with the light one again. Now, in the font controls, in the type controls, you have this horizontal spacing thing, which kind of does a little bit of the job, but this does it per letter, or not per letter. It does it for the whole line, right? There's no way for me to come in and squish that I into the F on its own with the current type tools. This is a problem. And frankly, this is the number one thing that I would recommend as like a user feature. Now, well, first of all, to get my right click back for my mouse pen. We'll talk about that another time. But the most important thing to me is the ability to type in Cinema and to kern the type. Because I can't kern type in Cinema, it means I have to go out to Illustrator, and now we'll pick light like it is out there. Let's pick light. There we go. It means I have to come out to Illustrator, make the word, right? Then come up to type, go to create outlines, and then save this. And not only just save it, but I have to save it as an Illustrator 8 file, which means after I save this, it's going to ask me what version of Illustrator. I need to go revert to Illustrator 8, then come into Cinema and merge that file in there. You could go merge objects and then bring that Illustrator 8 file in. And then, of course, that will work. And then it will also have the kerned type ready to go. In fact, if we do that, we can go... I'm going to keep spelling that wrong. And let's just save it to the desktop. And there you go. And right here we go version Illustrator 8, right? We got to go like this. And it'll ask me like, you sure you want to do Illustrator 8? That seems silly. And I go, no, I'm using Cinema, so it means I have to. So then I have to come into Cinema here, go to File, Merge Objects, go to my desktop, grab the Infinite Open, and bring it in. And maybe the scale's a little bit off, so I have to move it. See how tedious this is? This is what you have to do to get correctly kerned type into Cinema. And it's a little bit of a hassle, especially if you need to change this word or font or type. That means you have to go back into Illustrator, change it, resave it out, re-bring it in, and do all this stuff, right? Kind of a pain. Let me show you, though, a little trick that you can do to kern a little bit in Cinema. Now, this doesn't work if you have a large amount of type to kern. The best thing you're going to do is to go ahead and do this workflow in Illustrator. But if you only have like a title like this, let's just delete that. If you only have a title like this, what you could do is in the Mo text, you can go to, well, actually, let's just make this by itself. Let's go to MoGraph, Effector, Plane Effector, and we're going to add the Plane Effector in MoText under letters. So you can go to letters. You could say this Plane Effector affects letters, right? And then we go into the Plane Effector, and we basically zero out everything. The next thing we do is in our Plane Effector, we need to set up a fall off. And what we want is a linear fall off. And if we rotate that linear fall off sideways, there's 90 degrees right there. We can also shrink it a little bit too. This is going to kind of fake a kerning for us. And right now it's doing nothing, and that's because it's not affecting anything. Our Plane Effector under parameter has nothing. But if we say, I want you to negatively move the x-axis, right? Then you can actually come in here and squish stuff together. And this is actually doing the exact opposite of what we need. So we could either rotate it 90 degrees or 180 degrees, which is probably what I'm going to do here. My pen's not cooperating. It's kind of jumping around there. Let's see if we can't go to coordinate and just type in 90 degrees. That, I think, will do it. There we go. Now you can see what's happening is this effector is going to squish everything together. We need to shrink it a little bit more so it doesn't affect that F. But now it's going to push all these letters close and then squish that I in real tight. And we can actually add more effector to it just by sliding this now. Now that we have that Plane Effector adjusting right in between those letters, we can now kind of adjust that kerning per letter. Now, it's a little tedious. One thing you can do is duplicate this, go into your Mo text under letters and add another one, and then you can take that second one and move it somewhere else. So let's say you needed to kern that E a little bit. You can now go out to the E and pull it in. And now when you hit render, your text is going to be a little bit cleaner as far as your kerning is concerned. So that is just a quick way, again, to get kerning, kind of basic kerning for a few amount of letters inside of Cinema 4D. So that's it. Play around with kerning. Please learn more about typography in general. It's something that always makes, if you're playing with type and working with type, learning how to kern and track and set your type really is always an important part of design and making your stuff look better. So do check that out and kern your type. And Cinema Maxon, I guess, if you're watching this, add some kerning tools. That would be really great and really helpful. So that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching Grayscale Gorilla. I'll see you in another tutorial really soon. Bye, everybody.